Yeah, I think we're live. I just got a notification. We'll just pull it up on the over here so we can see the comment board. It's starting up. Yeah. We rolling? Yeah, we rolling. All right, Shalom, Akim. Shalom, Shalom. Okay, we the brothers, here, Great Millstone, Atlanta Church. I got with me the Captain Kasha Kuala. Shalom. Shalom. Before we get started, we're going to give all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Rakakadash. All right, double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone that rule and teach well. Peace, safety, and much love to the elect scattered around the four corners of the earth, giving our diligence to make the calling of election short. Okay, as you can see, pretty much on the title, me and the Spirit jumped on me and the brother to go through the book of Phillipians and, go through it, thoroughly and, hopefully it's edifying, to you brothers. But we're going to go ahead and jump into chapter 2, in the book of Philippians. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and let the brother, start reading.
God. This is Philippians chapter 2, verse 1. It says, if there be therefore any consolation in Yahweh Shai Mashiach, if any comfort of love, if any fellowship of the Spirit, if any bowels and mercies, fulfill ye my joy, that ye be like-minded, having the same love, being of one accord, of one mind.
Yeah, that's right. So, that's a sentiment that Paul echoed a lot. You hear it in the book of Corinthians. You read about it in the book of, Ephesians, about that one mind. Okay, so Paul was speaking the same thing to the church of Philippi right here. Okay, he spoke about them being in one mind and Yahweh Shai. Okay, you can keep going, bro.
Come on. It says, verse 3. It says, let nothing be done through strife or vain glory, but in lowliness of mind, let each esteem other better than themselves.
That's right. So it says, let nothing be done through strife and vain glory, which you see that, commonly amongst fallout camps, predominantly from Great Millstone. You see a lot of guys that was once a part of the ministry, once a part of this thing, called themselves a brother. Okay, then they got offended somewhere on down the line, whether it was a reproof, whether it was a doctrine where they struggled on understanding, and they let it trip them up. Then they began to go and speak through strife and vainglory and through hate. Okay, because they wanted to take this word and build upon the word of Yahweh Ba'ashem Shai to give themselves a reputation. Okay, therefore leading to what? Them teaching out of strife and vainglory and malice. Okay, so that's why the scriptures is telling you right here in the book of Philippians, the 2nd chapter, let nothing be done in that sort of spirit. Okay, so you got to be careful not to be doing things through the spirit of vainglory and strife. It's because you don't have something in common with a brother. You might, don't have a personal relationship, or you coveting a brother's position. You think that he shouldn't be the head, you should be the head, or he shouldn't be the captain. So on and so forth. So then you start to, become spiteful and do things through strife, trying to undermine certain orders. It's a lot that comes along with that spirit. But Paul said, let nothing be done according to those characteristics, and whenever you want to speak.
I got a precept. This is Galatians chapter 5, verse 26. It says, let us not be desirous of vainglory, provoking one another, envying one another.
That's right.
Go ahead, bro. And like you said, coveting one man's position, you are breaking the law in Exodus, the 20th chapter. That's one of the 10 commandments.
Yep.
When you're desiring another person's office, you could say, all right, or envying another brother, you're holding a grudge, you could say. But it says, let us not be desirous of vainglory. When you look up the word vainglory in the blue letter, it means empty pride. All right, so you're chasing something that doesn't even belong to you, according to Sirach, the 10th chapter.
Yep.
Yeah. So I'll continue for you.
All right, kind of.
It says, verse 3 again. It says, let nothing be done through strife. Philippians 2 and 3. Let nothing be done through strife or vainglory, but in lowliness of mind, let each esteem other better than themselves.
Yeah, meaning exhorting each other, man. Uplifting each other, encouraging each other. Trying to, to esteem a brother, because one thing about our people, you know, some brothers have low self-esteem, you know, when they first come in because, you know, probably because of their upbringing. Some brothers may have not had a father, or you might have had a mean ass mother, you know, or whatever the case may be. You probably wasn't as popular, you know, wasn't a big ladies man. So you come into the truth and you kind of carrying a sort of a low self-esteem about yourself. All right. So the scriptures say, let another esteem a brother, man, because this is a time of building and uplifting, you know, the elect of the nation of Israel, man.
That's right.
You know, so we have to, you know, at times, you know, we have to exhort each other. We have to admonish each other. We got to reprove each other and let a brother know, hey, man, you're better than that, man. The Lord expects better from you, man. You trying to be a king over the planet Earth. You know, you got to exhort him. You got to esteem him. You know, you don't esteem yourself. You know, the scripture say, let another man esteem you. You know, don't esteem yourself. So when you read these letters, like me and the Captain Kashakwala, we were speaking, and when you read these letters, man, these epistles of Paul, you see that Paul used to exhort these churches a lot. Paul was big on exhorting. He was big on putting things in order, you know, establishing elders in different ranks, you know, telling them where they're going off at, what they got to work on, and just showing that brotherly love and that upliftment. You know, Paul was big on that, man. You know, Paul was he prophesied, you know, at times when you read throughout some of the epistles, like you'll read about certain, you know, prophecies Paul would speak about, you know, but for the most part, Paul was just setting things in order, man.
That's right.
You know, he was just exhorting the churches, man, you know. But
yeah, even so, when you go into the book of Acts, we were talking about it earlier in the spirit. He was talking to Barnabas and he was saying, let's go to these other churches to confirm, to get confirmation. When you go into that word confirmation, it means to reestablish. All right, or to actually confirm, make sure everything is okay, like the brother was saying. You know, and even so, going into verse 3, it says, but in lowliness of mind. When you're in lowliness of mind, which is humility, everything's on a level playing field. You can see everything for what it is. All right. So if you're high, mighty, desirous of vainglory, your judgment is gonna be cloudy to everybody. You're not gonna be esteeming. You know.
That's right, brother.
All right. So verse 4 says, look not every man on his own things, but every man also on the things of others. Come on. It says, verse 5, let this mind be in you, which was also in Yahushua HaMashiach.
That's right. So we have to try, you know, our best, to the best of our ability, to emulate that mind of Yahweh Shai at all times. You know, like the brother Kashakwala was speaking about earlier, you know, he's getting in the mind frame and just trying to do things that's just pleasing to the Lord. You know, in everything that he do, whether it's, you know, crossing the street, you know, the Lord is on his mind. Every decision he makes, you know, and that's a good mind frame, man, because that same mind of Yahweh Shai has to be within you, you know, and that's why the Lord say, look not on the things of yourselves, but look also on the things of others. Meaning, when you have a position, or you an overseer or a brother that has a ranking, and other brothers look to you for advice or just how to walk, how to move, okay, you also got to watch that brother's spirit. You know, you got to monitor him at times. You know, you got to, you know, hey, brother, you got to work on this. You got to work on that. Make sure you do this. Make sure you do that. So don't also, when you come up in the spirit, you say, don't, you know, look not only on the things of yourselves, but also on the things of others. Because when Paul speaks, Paul's speaking about spiritual things. All right. He ain't talking about, you know, don't just only look at your house. You know, you need to go over that brother's house and inspect his house. You know, go make sure he got, no, he's talking about spiritual things there. You know, when you read that, it tells you that, you know, hey, man, you have that same mind of Yahweh Shai. Hey, Yahweh Shai was about what? He was about building. You know, he was about setting things in order. He was austere. You know, you would see Yahweh Shai, he would get on the disciples when they lacked their understanding at times. That's right. He would say, oh, ye of little faith, you know. And shalom to all of you brothers on the comment board. Barzal, shalom. Jim has 144 spiritual food, shalom. Yahweh Bashim Shai, Bashim Kakadas, Barakatham to you brothers, man. You know, but you can continue on, brother.
So verse 5 again, it says, let Philippians 2:5, let this mind be in you, which was also in Yahushua HaMashiach.
Yeah, so what is that mind frame, man? The Lord was about his Father's business. He was doing the work. So if you ain't doing the work of the Lord, then the mind of Yahweh Shai is not within you. If you took your hand off the plow, that mind of the Lord is not within you, man. If you ain't teaching these scriptures the right way and breaking down these prophecies correctly, okay, to the children of Israel, then that mind of Yahweh Shai is not within you, man. No matter how hard you try to psych yourself out and believe that Yahweh Shai is still with you and he's still working with you, he's not. Because you got to do the will of his Father, okay? Ratazakah, you know, the will of Ratazah or Abba Ratazah, man. The will of the Father, man, okay? That's what's pleasing to the Lord. That's when you have that mind of Yahweh Shai, because when Yahweh Shai was faced with obstacles and he was faced, you know, with, you know, making the ultimate sacrifice, he said, let my Father's will be done. That was his mind. So that same mind has to be within us, you know, to do the will of the Father, man. You know, right. And whenever you want to jump in, brother, you know.
I got a precept. And just to make a point, at verse 5, he says, let this mind be in you, which was also in Yahweh Shai Mashiach. Now, when you read from verse 4 up, or from 1 through 4, that was the mind, the characteristics of the mind that Yahweh Shai had, okay? Verse 1, it says he was speaking to the Phillipians, saying, even when you read the word if, it's not used in a negative light. It's more so since there is a consolation of, you know, of Yahweh Shai, since there is a comfort of love, since there is a fellowship of spirit, fellowship meaning an association of the spirit, you know, the bowels and the mercies, okay? It says, fulfill ye my joys to be like-minded, be of one mind, okay? Be not of strife, don't have pride, be lowly of mind, okay? All these are characteristics of Yahweh Shai. And this is Matthew chapter 11 and 29. It says, take my yoke upon you. All right. So he told the Philippians, let this mind be in you of Yahweh Shai. This is Yahweh Shai speaking. So it says, take my yoke upon you and learn of me, for I am meek and lowly in heart. What he told them to be in the third verse, I think, lowliness of mind. All right. And ye shall find rest unto your souls. Verse 30, for my yoke is easy and my burden is light. But Yahweh Shai right here in Matthew 11 is like, yo, be like me. Be like mine of me. And Paul even said the same thing in 1 Corinthians 11 and 1. That's it. Be, you know.
Yeah, be ye followers of me as I am following Yahweh Shai, or Mashiach, man. You know, so it's one thing to come into this thing, you know, and pick up the plow. And it's another thing to when you pick that plow up and you try to, you know, plow exactly like Yahweh Shai plowed. That's the same mind. You got that same work ethic. You know, that's another thing, man. Yahweh Shai had hella work ethic, man.
Yeah.
So when you had the mind of Yahweh Shai, you got good work ethic when it comes to the ministry. You know, the brother ain't gotta, you know, be calling you, asking you what's up with your videos, man. You know, what's going on with your attendance, man. Or, you know, you know, the mind frame of Yahweh Shai was consistency, man. Okay, dedication, you know, diligence. You know, Yahweh Shai was a very consistent spirit, man.
That's right.
You know, but you got it, brother.
God, verse 6, Philippians 2 and 6, who being in the form of a God or a power, thought it not robbery to be equal with the Most High.
Yeah, because he wasn't taking credit for anything. That's why he thought it not robbery to be equal with the Most High. Because when Yahweh Shai came, he came real meek and humble.
That's right.
You know, and he declared himself as the son of the Heavenly Father. So, you know, from the outside looking in, that would seem sort of proud. Like who that's how they looked at Yahweh Shai, like he was proud. He said that he was the son of the Heavenly Father. You know, he was sent, you know, to be a sacrifice for the remission of the sins of Israel. When the Pharisees and the other people that were without heard that, they thought he was proud, man.
Yeah.
So, but that's why he was able to do that, because he was meek. And he said he thought it not robbery to be equal with the Most High, because he gave all credit to Yahweh, to the Most High, man. You know, speaking about Yahweh Shai gave all the credit and all the glory to the Most High. So that's why he thought it not robbery. See, a lot of guys, you know, that ain't right, that come into this thing, they trying to rob the Most High, man.
That's right.
They trying to take all the credit, all the glory. They want all the fame. They want everybody to kiss their feet and drink of their system, so to speak. You know, and don't give no credit to the Lord, for the Lord building them up and making them into the person that they are, man. That's why Yahweh Shema Shai casts a lot of men out, because they don't give credit. They don't pray. They don't say, the scripture say, give continual thanks. So you're supposed to be thanking the Lord all the time, and Yahweh Shai did that. That's right. That's why he said it right there. He said, who being in the form of the Most High thought it not robbery to be equal with the Most High. Okay, so continue on, bro.
It says, but made himself of no reputation.
Exactly. See, he made himself of no reputation. Okay, we're speaking about Yahweh Shai here. Yahweh Shai wasn't, he said, those that wear king's clothing is in their kingdom, roughly paraphrased. He said, what cometh thou forth to see? A man in comely apparel? He said, those that wear king's clothing is sitting in the king's throne, man. So Yahweh Shai didn't make himself of reputation. What did he say? He said he came not to be ministered unto, but to minister. So he made himself a servant of the Lord, man. That's the spirit, that's the same mind we gotta have, bro.
That's right.
A servant, brother, just because you over a brother in the spirit, you're supposed to serve that brother, man.
That's right.
He that is greatest among you should be a servant. He's supposed to serve you.
That's exactly what. Look at what the apostles and elders are doing. They're serving us right now. They're feeding us. When you're feeding somebody, we're coming by getting a plate.
Right.
They're serving us.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? But even so, it says, verse 6 again, it says, who being in the form of the Most High thought it not robbery to be equal with the Most High. Now, when you read Paul's epistles, the one thing that you have to understand, you got to understand punctuality. All right, when he uses his certain punctuations. Now, after the word God, when you read that, it's a colon. A colon is something. After a colon is an explanation. So verse 7 is going to explain why he wrote down verse 6. It says, but made himself of no reputation. Now I'm going to get the word reputation if you don't mind.
Yeah, of course, bro.
Because this is going to explain why he said he wrote what he wrote in verse 6. It says reputation is kino in the Greek, and it means to empty, make empty. It says Yahweh Shai, he laid aside equality with, or the form of the Most High. It says to make void, deprive of force, render vain, useless. Okay, so so Yahweh Shai, when he came to earth, what does the scripture say to Jacob in Isaiah 41? It says, "Thou worm."
Yep.
So he made himself to, I don't want to say fully to our level,
God.
but he was in the flesh as a man.
Yeah.
So he didn't make himself as equal, which makes what? He emptied himself.
That's right.
All right. So he had no reputation. I got a quick precept. This is Psalm 22 in 6, because we understand, according to Luke 24:44, that Yahweh Shai said the law of Moses, the prophets, and the Psalms are all concerning me.
That's right.
All right. Loosely paraphrasing. So this is Psalm 22:6. It says, but I am a worm and no man, a reproach of men, and despised of the people. And that's facts. Yahweh Shai was reproached of men, and he was despised, he was scorned. That's why you have Isaiah 53. Okay, so going back to Philippians 2:7, it says, but made himself of no reputation, or made himself empty, okay, which is a humbling act. All right, knowing, and he even said it, I can bring 12 legions of angels. Yeah. Knowing that he had the power.
He said he could call down a legion right now
if he wanted to.
But he just had to fulfill, what was his mind frame? To fulfill the will of the Father. But you got to go.
It says, and took upon him the form of a servant. Okay. And was made in the likeness of men. That's right. He was made. Let me give one precept about Bishar.
I got one real quick, because it said he took on the form of a servant. This is Matthew chapter 21 and verse 5. It says, tell tell ye the daughter of Zion, behold, thy king cometh unto thee meek, and sitting upon an ass, and a colt the foal of an ass. So Yahushua came in riding on the donkey, man. Came in meek. That was his entrance. Yep. You know, he didn't come in riding on a stallion with a crown. You know, he came lowly. He wore a sackcloth. You know, he had a deep voice. He had a red eyes. You know, he took the vow of a Nazarite.
That's right.
Okay, so he came in humble, man. Our king, man. Okay, that's the fashion our king came to serve the Lord in. So wherein is there boasting and pride for us?
That's right.
Our king didn't come in that manner. He came in humble. He came in serving. We got to follow the same mind of Yahushua. However he came in to serve the Lord, that's the same vibration we must serve Yahushua. That's right. Because he was the epitome, or he was the prototype of being a man. Okay, so if we are to serve him, we got to come as best as possible like him.
That's right.
You know, and you got to go, brother. And I just want to bring that precept.
That's beautiful, because you said he's a king, right? He came in humbly. Yep. Even in his incarnation in the past.
That's right.
I'm gonna get a quick account. This is 1 Kings 1:44. It says, and the king had sent with him Zadok the priest, and Nathan the prophet, and Benaniah the son of Jehoiada, the Cherethites, and the Pelethites, and they have caused him to ride upon the king's mule. So even when he got crowned king, Solomon got dubbed king in the book of Kings, he came in on a mule. Okay. And then one more, Babak Shah.
Come on, go ahead, bro.
This is Isaiah chapter 42, verse 1.
Yep.
And this is a prophecy about Yahushua. It says, behold, my servant, okay, whom I uphold, mine elect, in whom my soul delighteth. I have put my spirit upon him, according to Matthew the 3rd chapter, when the spirit descended on him like a dove. Okay. He shall bring forth judgment unto the Gentiles. So that's Yahushua, man. Okay. Right. He came in, he said, the Most High said, behold, my servant. Okay. So automatically the Most High put him at a humble state from the get-go.
Yep. And he come in puffed up.
There you go.
Because it wasn't time for Yahushua to seize his throne. It was time for him to make his sacrifice so that he can get his throne.
That's right.
That's why when he comes back this time, what he said? He said, when Yahushua said, when he come back this time, he gonna wear many crowns, man. And he's gonna subdue many kings. Because then this is gonna be the time for Yahushua to really get busy, man.
That's right.
See, when Yahushua came, he was looking at them like, man, I can, man, but it ain't time. I got to do the will of my Father. I got to make my sacrifice. That was Yahushua's mind frame, man. So what mind frame should we be in, bro?
That's right.
Wow, this ain't the time to be trying to, suit up with Edomites.
Yeah.
Right now we building. Right now we working. All right. When that time frame comes, when Yahushua comes back to seize his throne, we gonna follow suit.
That's right.
If we be a part of that number, we just playing follow the leader, man.
That's right.
Okay. And when Yahushua put his crowns on, when Yahushua subdue these kingdoms and take over the planet Earth, then we'll be able to wear our crowns, man.
That's right.
All right. Then we'll be able to sit on the throne with the scepter. Judging the 12 tribes of Israel. Man.
That's right.
Judging the nations, having a level of dominance, in righteousness embedded within. But right now, it's time to work, man.
That's right.
We got to do what Yahushua was doing, man. Work, humbly, understanding the calling first. Before you can, receive the reward, you got to understand the extent of the calling. And what is entailed when you come into the ministry. And that's what Yahushua is telling us right here,
Right.
But you got it, brother.
Come. It says, verse 7 again, but Philippians 2:7, but made himself of no reputation and took upon him the form of a servant and was made in the likeness of men. And here's another colon, all right? Verse 8, it says, being found in the fashion as a man, all right?
But he was in the flesh. Go ahead.
He humbled himself and became obedient unto death.
See, he humbled himself and became obedient unto death. Because why? Because that was the will of the Most High, that he had to drink that cup of death. So he became obedient unto it, even though he couldn't, you know, he's the son of the Most High. So he had the power to defeat him, but he knew that he had to drink of that cup because it was for a greater purpose. Okay. And that's the example that we have, brothers. Okay. Which is such a beautiful example of leadership, of love, of righteousness, man. Okay. Of charity. That's the most charitable act.
That's right.
You know,
John the 15th chapter.
That's right. You know,
to lay down your life for your friends.
Yeah. You know, and Yahushua did that for his elect, man. That's why the brother just read in Isaiah, the 41st chapter, said, in my elect, whom my soul delighteth, man. Mm-hmm. The Lord really loves his elect to where he laid down his life, you know, just for a little moment so that, you know, the adoption could be fulfilled. So in order for all that to be fulfilled, he had to come lowly, meek. He had to be obedient unto death. He had to abide by the will of the Father. He had to be as a servant, you know. Mm-hmm. He had to bite his tongue at times. He held his peace when a lot of things was coming his way. This is the sacrifices that the Lord and Savior made, man. Mm-hmm. All right, but you can continue on, brother.
Come on, I got a quick precept.
Okay.
This is it said being found in a fashion as man. It says, this is John chapter 1, verse 14. And the word was made flesh. And we understand the word is Yahushua.
Yep.
The word was made flesh. It's right there.
Read John 1:1. That's an inside joke for the brothers here in Atlanta. John 1:1. Read John 1:1. Cut by John 1:1. Yeah, guys. Scarfer we was dealing with years ago. But go ahead.
It said John 1:14. It says, and the word was made flesh and dwelt among us. Mm-hmm. And we beheld his glory, the glory as of the only begotten of the Father, full of grace and truth. Okay, so it says Philippians 2 and 8 again, and being found in fashion as a man, because he came in the flesh, he humbled himself and became obedient unto death, even the death of the cross.
Mm-hmm.
All right, verse 9. Wherefore the Most High also hath highly exalted him.
Yeah, it says highly exalted him. All right, and why did the Lord describe the exaltation as being highly? Because he's gonna be over all kingdoms. He's gonna be over all nations. All right, that was Yahushua's, you know, introduction to power when he made that sacrifice. The Lord was you know, he was required, because the scripture tell you that he's bound by his word.
That's right.
You know. So because Yahushua made that sacrifice, then he was required to uphold his word and make Yahushua the king over the earth. All right. So that's why it says he was highly exalted, man. Mm-hmm. Because at that moment, man, when he made that sacrifice, the elect was adopted, you know, and he was to be placed, you know, on high over all kingdoms, all nations, all governments, all mountains. Okay. And this is about to be fulfilled very, very, very soon, man. Any day, man. You know, something major is going to take place and transpire to where this American society is going to be on its crutches. You know, the Achilles tendons of America is about to snap, man. Okay, and it's going to fall. And when the falling happens, okay, the adoption is going to take place where the Lord is going to come back and gather his elect from the four corners of the earth and establish his kingdom that was promised from his Father, man. It's a beautiful story. Okay? Right. Go ahead, brother.
Quick precept, back to it.
All right, come.
Isaiah 52:13, behold, my servant shall deal prudently, and he shall be exalted and extolled and be very high. So this is Philippians chapter 2, verse 9 again. Wherefore the Most High also hath highly exalted Salatia, the water, exalted him and given him a name which is above every name.
Which his name means he delivers. Yahushua delivers, man. And no other power, I don't care what nation it is, has a power where they worship, and his name means he delivers. You know, that's our Savior's name, is he delivers. That's the greatest power, you know, that you could call on, man. Because it's a power of deliverance. He can get you out of anything, man. Okay? But you got these other nations, they got gods for specifics. Gods of lightning, gods of thunder, gods of water. Yahweh Shai is the God of everything. He delivers. He is and he delivers. It don't get, you can't, that's why that name, like what we just read, that name is above every name. It don't matter what name you come with, man. You can't trump he delivers. You can't. Because it don't matter what you come with, he can deliver you. He can deliver you. No matter what Satan comes with, he can deliver you, man. That's our power, man. Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai, man. Okay? Continue reading, brother.
Come. Because even so, like, his name is going to be above everything. Going to Colossians, the first chapter, he created everything visible and invisible.
Yep.
So everything, he owns it, you know? So verse 10, Philippians 2 and 10, that at the name of Yahweh Shai, every knee should bow, of things in heaven and things in earth and things underneath the earth.
You can break it down, man.
Con. That's right. Just like I said in Colossians 1, all right? He owns everything, man.
Con.
All right? Invisible, invisible, everything you see created or haven't seen created, anything that's going to be newly created according to Wisdom of Solomon, is all his. Okay? So every knee shall bow. I got a precept to that real quick. All right.
I gotta get one too after that.
Come on, brother. This is Romans chapter 14 and 11. It says, "For it is written, as I live, saith the Lord, Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai, every knee shall bow to me, and every tongue shall confess the Most High." That's right. Every knee shall bow. All the heathens, everybody.
That's right.
Okay? Because they're creatures. The word creature goes back to the word create. Everything was created by Yahweh Shai.
That's right.
And even on top of that, that shows Yahweh Shai's humility, even going all the way back to Genesis. Okay, because he was commanded to do all that in Genesis, the first chapter, and gave all glory in the second chapter to the Most High.
Yeah, because the Creator creates the creature.
That's right. And that goes to show you what Paul was speaking about when he said he made him of no reputation.
Yeah.
He made himself of no reputation from the void when the earth was void.
And he created it.
And he created it.
He created the workings of the whole earth to where he could just put a curse on the fig tree and it withered away right before. Because he knew the workings, man. He knew it. Yahweh Shai was off the chain, man.
But still
came in more humble than anybody could ever come, man. You know, I got something real quick. This is Revelation chapter 19, and I'm gonna start at verse 12 and read down to 16. It says, "His eyes were as a flame of fire, and on his head were many crowns. And he had a name written that no man knew but himself." All right, and that name is Yahweh Shai. Okay, go. Verse 13. "And he was clothed with the vesture dipped in blood, and his name is called the Word." That's why when you read John 1 and 1, it tells you that. Okay, so continuing on, it says, "And the armies which were in heaven followed him upon white horses, clothed in fine linen, white and clean." That's talking about the chariots who, the elite and the insiders call UFOs. Okay. Those are the armies that were clothed in fine white linen. That's the righteousness, man. Okay. And it says, "And out of his mouth goeth a sharp sword, that with it he should smite the nations, and he shall rule them with a rod of iron." That's when every knee is gonna bow, like what the brother just brought out, man. All right. That because he gonna send out blasts of fire, man, laser strikes coming out them chariots, which is a video on YouTube that shows an actual chariot shooting a laser out and dismembering a missile. Have you? I don't know if you ever seen that joint. I'll find it real quick. Matter of fact, y'all brothers bear with me 1 second. I'm gonna just go ahead and pull it up for the edification, for the sake of edification. Just bear with me 1 second. Let's see if I can find it. See, they probably took it down, man. You know, I did a video. Oh, here it is. Here it is. Let's see. I'm gonna share my screen. I'm gonna share my screen real quick. And now look at this. Watch this. See that? Now, this is years ago, man. You know, that's that. You know, that laser beam came out. And look at it. Look at it. See? They was doing a missile test, and the chariot just came out of nowhere and shot the missile and dismembered it.
That's crazy.
You know, so this what these people dealing with. This what they got on their hands, man. You know, this is what they got on their hands, man. Okay, so you know, I just wanted to share that real quick. Now I'm gonna go back to it. This is you know, Revelation chapter 19. Okay, and in verse 15, and out of his mouth goeth a sharp sword, that with it he should smite the nations, and he shall rule them with the rod of iron, and he treadeth the winepress of the fierceness and wrath of the Almighty. Verse 16, this is the point that I wanted to get. And he have on his vesture and on his thigh a name written, King of Kings and Lord of Lords. That's when, you know, all these kings of the world, man, from Netanyahu to Donald Trump, Rothschild, Rockefellers, DuPonts, the Gettys, the Warburgs, Vanderbilts, you know, the Bushes, you know, all of these other nations is gonna have to call Yahushua the King of Kings and Lord of Lords. That's right. Because he's gonna subdue everybody, man. African kings to fucking Chinese kings, man. You know, everybody. That's right. You know, but we can go back to Philippians now.
Kind. But it says Philippians 2:11, and that every tongue should confess that Yahushua Hamashiach is Lord, to the glory of the Most High, the Father.
Yeah, every tongue, man. Not some tongues. Every tongue is gonna confess the name of Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua, man. Very soon, man. All right, all of you Israelites straddling the fence, you know, in between the name of Yeshua and Yehoshua. No, you're gonna confess the name of Yahushua, man. All you guys that you know don't want to do the work, don't want to come down to the camp, but you always got some advice on the comment board. You know what we need to do better. You know what we need to stop doing and this and that. All of y'all gonna have to confess that name too, man. Okay, so your best bet is to get in the right mind frame, man. All right, because you about to have to face the reality that we facing. Everybody's gonna have to face, man. Okay, through the Spirit, the Lord was gracious enough to give us the Spirit to recognize it right now, man. The severity of it. All right, but you want straddling the fence, man. Everybody gonna confess that name, man. Everybody gonna bow to that name. All right, whether you in His good graces or not, man. So if you're gonna confess it and you're gonna bow to it, you might want to be in His good graces, man. That's right. Because He ain't coming back on no donkey this time, man. He ain't even gonna meet thee as a man. You know, Isaiah the 47th chapter. But you can continue, my brother.
Verse 12. Wherefore, my beloved, as ye have also obeyed, not as in my presence only, but now more, much more in my absence, work out your own salvation with fear and trembling.
Hey, you see? So that's exactly what the Spirit had us just saying before the brother read the scripture. Work out your own salvation with fear and trembling. Now that you see every tongue gonna have to confess, every knee is gonna bow, he gonna come back with the sharp sword coming out of his mouth, and so on and so forth. Okay? Now seeing that you know all of these things, work out your own salvation with fear and trembling. Because the Spirit of the Lord is upon us, brothers, and hopefully He's gracious enough and merciful to His mercy can carry us through this. But we own it, man. We trying our best, man, to edify brothers, to edify sisters, you know, to build ourselves up, to endure mental chastisement, you know, where your mind is just, you know, just like, man, you know, you're going through a lot mentally, different thoughts popping in your head. You know, your fear levels is rising. You know, you're having crazy dreams. We really fighting this thing, man. We really stepping up to the plate through the Spirit. All right. So what about you? You got to work your own salvation out as well, man. Okay. And get in there, man, because you ain't gonna be able to buy, you know, a chariot ticket at Goodwill at a thrift, you know, the thrift price, man. You know, trying to take the cheap way out. You know, when Jacob's Trouble come in, next thing you know, they at Joann's trying to get some fabric, right? Trying to open the camp. You know, nah, man, you gotta put your best foot forward right now while it's today, man. You know, so work out that own salvation. Go ahead, bro.
Con, I got a quick precept back.
Con, you can break it down too.
Ephesians 6 and 5, synonymous to Philippians 2 and 12. It says, servants, be obedient to them that are your masters according to the flesh, with fear and trembling and singleness of your heart, as unto Yahweh Shah HaMashiach. So this is Philippians 2 and 13. It says, for it is the Most High which worketh in you both to will and to do of his good pleasure. All right. It says, verse 14, do all things without murmurings and disputings. That's right. It says, do all things without murmurings and disputings. If you're murmuring and you're disputing, you have a very effeminate spirit and vibration on you. Okay.
It's usually one or two things. You know, you got your mama spirits on you, or you got a nigga woman that you've been dealing with, her spirits on you, man.
That's right.
You know, you know, falling victim to the nigga woman. You know, that's what murmurings and whisperings and all that vibration come from women, man. Because the scriptures speak about what? Old wives' fables. You know, the old wives' tales. You know, which that's what women do. They sit around, they gossip.
That's right.
You know, that's a woman trait, man. I used to see my mom doing that. Like, man, you always gossiping, you know, because that's a trait. That's a trait of a woman. So if a man is murmuring and whispering and you know, being all underhanded, you know, not direct, not straightforward, that's the spirit of a woman, like what the brother said.
That's what you call upbraiding.
Yeah, upbraiding. Yeah, kind.
So this is the word for disputing. Okay. I'm gonna let Esau say it. I can't pronounce it.
Hey, God.
G 1261. Dialogismas.
That's where you get the word dialogue. Okay. So it says it says the thinking of a man deliberating with himself, a thought, inward reasoning. Okay, purpose, design. All right, deliberating, questioning about what is true. Hesitation gets you killed. Yeah. All right. It says doubting, disputing, arguing. So being argumentative in your mind. Okay. All these things go back to the disputing. Okay. I have a quick precept. This is yeah, I'll read this one.
Come on.
This is Sirach chapter 19, verse 8. It says, whether it be friend or foe, talk not of another man's life. So what's that? Murmuring. Talking behind someone's back, holding a grudge. I think what in Galatians or Ephesians is one of the two. Talks about.
I get it. It's in James.
Come.
I get it for you.
It says, and if thou canst without offense reveal them not. So just shut. What's that when you grow up? If you ain't got nothing good to say, don't say it at all.
Don't say it at all, man.
All right. So if you think you're about to murmur, just shut your mouth, man. Yeah. Because you're gonna have to take account of every idle word.
That's right. You know? And you know, now if you say a word about a brother, you know, and he ain't present, then you need to make sure you speak it to that brother when you find the time. You know. Now sometimes, you know, if you're in a position of leadership and you don't have no issue with bringing, you know, certain things to a brother, you may have to speak on it just for you know, for being, because you're being analytical, you know, and you examining certain things. Some stuff you don't have to speak on, you know, like you may get with, you know, the top brothers and you may talk, you know, what's going on with this brother. Okay, cool. Because you know, you already know that when time comes, you'll bring it to them anyway.
That's right.
You know, but them deliberate brothers, the ones that deliberate in their own mind and they you know, just trying to just gather information on you, and they trying to undercut you, you know, and go at the knees, you know, trying to deal a low blow, you know, it's like that ain't right, man. Okay, you can't move like that, man. Let nothing be done through murmurings, man, and disputings, man. Okay, when we dealing with this body, when we dealing with this ministry, it's a straightforward ministry. Okay, it's a straightforward interaction with the brethren, man. Straightforwardness, man. Yahweh Shai said, you know, the servant said, I fear thee because thou art an austere man. And what did Yahweh Shai respond and say? He said, well, thou knowest that I was an austere man, and I reapeth where I sowed not. You know, that was what Yahweh Shai said right there, man. Okay, so we got to be straightforward when it comes to, you know, what's right and what's wrong, man. Okay, don't pull no punches with the brother, man. You know, let the brother let it all out. And if you're wrong, the brother will correct you. And if you're right, that brother will be corrected, man. Okay, but
not the sun go down on your wrath.
Yep, that's right.
You need to give place to the devil, man.
Yeah, because the scriptures say anger resteth in the bosom of fools. You know.
Come on. Did you have that?
Yeah, I got it for you.
Come on.
This is James chapter 5 and verse 9. It says, grudge not one against another, brethren, lest ye be condemned. Behold, the judge standeth before the door.
Grudge not one another, lest ye be condemned. Okay? Because if grudging is another attribute of a woman. Okay?
Yeah.
A grudge, just a synopsis of the word, is you bringing up old shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's what they do.
You be with a girl, you be with a girl for 10 years. She's like, well, about 8 years ago, you did. Like, what did you been grudging that long?
That shit up.
We could have hashed that out.
Yeah,
a long ass time ago.
Well, I thought we did. I mean, you know, like
and it's 8 more years with your ass.
Like you still remember that shit?
I'm gonna get that word grudge super fast when we get back to the Philippians.
Okay, come on, yeah, because we're gonna get through this.
Yeah. Salakia.
And if I could say, you know, why the brother getting the word, that goes to show you the potency of these scriptures, because, you know, we reading through Philippians, but hey, the scriptures say let precept be upon precept, line upon line here a little, there a little. So when you read these precepts, you can't just read Philippians straight through without getting certain precepts to add into it, to back up and to bring home the points even more powerful, man. That's the spirit. That's the power behind the spirit of the Lord, when you're able to, skillfully move through this river of living waters like an expert, man. You know, that's the spirit of the Lord, man. And we not even experts, man. You know, we far from it. We babes, you know, but through the spirit of a baby, you know, you still able to crawl, you know, and maneuver in this web of understanding, man. It's a beautiful thing, you know. But you got
the word for grudge is stenazo. In the Greek, it means aside, to groan. When we go into the Strong's definition, this is how we know the word is synonymous with murmurings or disputings. It says to make in straits, so make complicated. Yeah. Grudging makes things complicated. It says to side, murmur. All right.
Murmurings, you know.
It says with grief, groan, grudge, aside.
So let's get back into Philippians.
So it's Philippians chapter 2, verse 15. It says that 14 again, do all things without murmuring.
Which that word is synonymous with grudging as well. Okay, for edification's sake. All right, let's go.
In disputings, there's a colon. So the explanation is coming. Verse 15, that ye may be blameless.
That's right. So the reason why the Lord said don't do things in this spirit is so you could be blameless. Right. Okay, you want to be blameless before the Lamb. Okay. Go ahead, brother.
And harmless,
like a dove,
which means innocent.
And a dove is representative of what? Pure. You know, that's what a dove represents. That's why you were able to sacrifice it, because it was clean, it was pure. Okay, go ahead, brother.
The sons of the Most High, so children of the Most High.
That's right, Bunyan. Okay, go ahead, brother.
Without rebuke.
Without rebuke, like the scriptures tell you in somewhere in the gospel, not the gospel, but in the epistles, it said being unrebukable. All right. As a matter of fact, let me just get it real quick. I'm gonna look it up on my phone. Okay. Because you gotta get to a point where You unrebukable. That's what's going to make you worthy enough to receive that salvation, because you have on that pure linen without spot.
That's right.
The Lord will, will see you as a vessel that don't even need to be rebuked.
That's right. These words, blameless, harmless, without rebuke, these all go into what? Perfection.
Yep.
Because if you're perfect, nothing can come against you. That's why they had to get false witnesses with Yahushua, because he was perfect.
Yep. And I got it right here. This is 1 Timothy 6:14. It says that thou keep this commandment without spot, unrebukable, unto the appearing of our Lord Hamashiach Yahushua. So you gotta purge and build yourself up all the way to the point to where you're unrebukable when the appearing of the Lord comes. So where when he comes back, he don't have to burn your ass up with that fire. He can save you.
That's right.
Because you already went through your rebukes, and he can get the last little, filth that you got off you by way of translating you.
That's right.
Brother.
It says, without rebuke, all right, in the midst of a crooked and perverse nation.
Yeah, which is 2/3 and the other nations. Okay, go ahead, brother.
Among whom ye shall among whom ye shine as lights in the world. Yeah,
and that's because of the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding is upon the chosen elect. Okay, yeah, Matthew the 5th chapter, Daniel the 12th chapter, and also Ecclesiastes the 8th chapter speaks about those that shine according to the wisdom, man. All right, those that turn many the righteous shall shine as the firmament in heaven. That's in Daniel the 12th chapter. Okay, so that's that shine. That shine, man, and that's a marker of the Lord distinguishing you from the world, man. It says you're gonna shine so that the others may see you, man. Okay, so the Lord is putting a difference between 2/3 and 1/3 and 144,000. Okay, let's go, bro.
That's right. Verse 16, holding forth the word of life. Okay, holding forth the word of life, that I may rejoice in the day of Yahushua HaMashiach.
That's right, and that links up with John 6:63, where the scriptures say, "The words that I speak unto you, they are spirit and they are life." Okay, so we have the word of life. We have the word of truth. Okay, we have the truth of the world, man. You're not gonna find it in Kemet. Okay, you're not gonna find the truth in Christianity, in Catholicism, Mormonism. Okay, you're not gonna find the truth in the trap. The truth is in Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua and in the Holy Bible. The true understanding of life itself, the book of life, man, is right here.
That's right.
Okay, and it's easily accessible, but you have to have the spirit of the Lord to come down upon you to break it down to you through the prophets.
That's right.
Let's go, bro.
It says that I have not run in vain, neither labored in vain. Isaiah 49. It says,
hey, whenever you want to break it down, bro, just jump in there.
Keep going. Philippians 2:17. It says, yeah, and if I be offered upon the sacrifice and service of your faith, I joy and rejoice with you all. All right. Verse 18, for the same cause also do ye joy and rejoice with me.
See, so because Yahushua, purposed himself, for the sacrifice, was really, this is talking about Paul now right here. Okay. And Paul said, he said, yea, and if I be offered upon the sacrifice and service of your faith, I joy and rejoice with you all. So Paul is speaking about the sacrifices that he made, because he's, able to make certain sacrifices of becoming that sacrifice. He's still going to be joyous. Okay. He's still going to rejoice that he's able to make sacrifices and endure afflictions and temptations and shipwreck, being, stoned and persecuted and hated and amongst perils of this deep and perils of the wilderness. He still is rejoicing, man.
That's right.
Heavy words, bro.
That's what he was telling them in the first chapter.
Yeah.
Even in my bonds and all the things that I'm going through, man. So it says, verse 19. See, all this clears everything up in verse 19. But I trust in the Lord Yahushua to send. But that point right there, where everything I go through, I trust in the Lord Yahushua. Okay, but continuing to send Timotheus shortly unto you, that I also may be of good comfort when I know your state.
Yeah, because Paul, he loved Timothy. That's right. And Timothy was known as Paul's son in the faith. As a matter of fact, I'll get it to you. I'll get it real quick. This is 1 Timothy chapter 1:1. It says, Paul, an apostle of Hamashiach Yahushua, by the commandment of our Savior and Lord Yahushua Hamashiach, which is our hope, unto Timothy, my own son in the faith, grace, mercy, and peace from the Most High, our Father, and Yahushua Hamashiach, our Lord. So when Paul said that, I trust that the Lord is going to send Timothy to you, so that when I hear, basically when I hear of your state, he'll be comforted, because Timothy was like his son. He trusted Timothy, man. So he knew that if Timothy came back and gave a good report, she was trustworthy to do so, So let's continue to read on, bro.
Verse 20, it says, for Philippians 2:20, for I have no man, for I have no man like-minded who will naturally care for your state. Yeah,
so Paul loved Timothy, man. That was like his favorite. It was like Yahushua had his favorites. Yahushua had his favorites, man. You can't help, when you have favorite brothers, right. That's fervent, and they, trustworthy, so on and so forth, man. Okay, so hey, Yahushua had his favorites. Timothy was Paul's favorite. Okay, go ahead.
It says, for all seek their own. Verse 21, for all seek their own, not the things which are Yahushua Hamashiach's. All right. It says, verse 22, but ye know the proof of him, that as a son with the Father, he hath served with me in the gospel.
Yeah. So Timothy was highly esteemed in the eyes of Paul, man. He always referenced Timothy as a son, as somebody that he pretty much brought up under his wing and groomed him in order to be the man that he was, man. That's why he wrote 2 letters to him.
That's right.
He really had a love for Timothy, man. And Timothy was a bishop, man. He was an overseer of certain churches, man. Okay?
That's right.
Let's go out.
It says, verse 23, him therefore I hope to send presently, so soon as I shall see how it will go with me. All right. Verse 24, but I trust in the Lord that I also myself shall come shortly.
That's right. That's Paul speaking. Okay, go ahead, bro.
Come on. Verse 25, yet I suppose it necessary to send to you Epaphroditus, my brother and companion in labor, and fellow soldier.
Yeah, so Paul, he referenced, he referenced him as a brother, a companion, and a fellow servant. Okay, much like a fellow soldier. So Paul understood that this was really spiritual warfare that he was engaged in, man. Okay, and you read that in the book of Timothy, man. Paul spoke about enduring a soldier. All right, in the book of Ephesians, he referenced, the battle, and having the spiritual armor. So Paul had a soldier-like mentality, man. He had a soldier-like mind frame, man. He knew that he was, in a spiritual war, and he had, to fight spiritual battles. Paul understood that, man.
That's right.
You got it, bro.
Verse 25 again, it says, yet I suppose it necessary to send to you Epaphroditus, my brother and companion in labor, and fellow soldier, but your messenger, and he that ministered to my wants.
Yeah, so you could tell that Epaphroditus, ministered unto Paul. He served Paul.
That's right.
And he was sick.
Yeah, So next verse,
God.
And that goes to show you that this is a form of praise to the Philippians, because the Philippians actually sent this man to Paul to minister, and they sent him abundance of another things too while he was in other, ministries at the time.
That's right.
Okay, so verse 26, for he longed after you all. Meaning Epaphroditus was missing. God. You know what I'm saying? It says,
mind you, he talking to the Philippians.
To the Philippians.
So he's saying that Epaphroditus he longed to see the church of Philippi. You know, you got it, bro.
It says it was full of heaviness because that ye had heard, Salakia, because that ye have heard that he had been sick. All right, verse 27. It says, for indeed he was sick, nigh unto death. So he was on the brink of death, sick.
Yeah.
But still ministering, still doing the work, still doing what he could.
That's powerful, man.
So it's like we were saying earlier, Yahushua came down in all humility. So what's some more us? This brother right here, he was sick unto death, still trying to push. What's some more us?
That's right. That's right.
What's your excuse?
Yeah.
You know, an excuse is in the same realm as an alibi. You know, right? A good excuse is still a god dang excuse, man. That's the Luke 14 and 18, if I'm not mistaken.
That's it. Yeah.
You know, and then they made excuses, man. What's your excuse, man? You shouldn't have one.
Hey, I did a video entitled, a few weeks ago, I was talking to the elder Yatazak out there in Dallas, and I said, this is a no excuse ministry. Meaning this ministry that we're a part of, this service that we're a part of, it does not, you can't conjure up an excuse, man.
There's no room for it.
There's no room for it. You're solution based. Okay, if it's a problem, excuses don't fix the problem. Solutions, solutions fix problems, not excuses.
Sure.
Okay, go ahead, bro.
Come. It says, verse 27, Philippians 2 and 27, for indeed he was sick nigh unto death, but the Most High hath mercy on him, and not on him only, but on me also.
Yeah, because Paul went through hell, man.
That's right.
And Epaphroditus was sick unto death, but what was the key unto his sickness? The Lord had mercy on him, man. So the Lord didn't, he let him endure his affliction because he was a servant, he was a minister.
That's right.
Okay, so that's the importance of enduring, man. When you get sick unto death and you still trying to fight through it, the Lord will have mercy on you, man. He'll give you the spirit to bear it, man. The scripture says the spirit of a man bears his infirmities.
That's right.
So hey, brothers, this is a real heavy chapter to meditate on because it touches a lot of spiritual points, when dealing with the body, whether it's Yahushua, whether it's your diligence, giving diligence to make your calling of election sure. Every knee shall bow, every tongue shall confess how Yahushua was humble, going into the fellow servants. This is a very spiritual chapter here, man.
Got a quick precept.
You can break it down too.
This is Jude chapter Salaki. This is Jude verse 21. It says, keep yourself in the love of Yahweh. So on the good side, looking for the mercy of our Lord Yahweh Shai Mashiach unto eternal life. I just brought that out because he was on the brink of death, but the Most High had mercy on him because what? He stayed in the love of the Most High. Okay, therefore he saw it. The Most High Yahweh Shai saw it fit to get him through his predicament. All right. It says, verse 27, Philippians 2 and 27, for indeed he was sick, nigh unto death, but the Most High had mercy on him, and not on him only, but on me also, lest I should have sorrow upon sorrow. Okay. He said sorrow upon sorrow because he was sorrowful for Epaphroditus, for what he was going through, and also on top of his sorrows. Okay, that's why he said, lest I should have sorrow upon sorrow. Verse 28, it says, I sent him, therefore, the more carefully. All right, so he sent him back, okay, that when ye see him again, ye may rejoice, and that I may be the less sorrowful. See, he just clarified what he said in 27, so he doesn't have sorrow upon sorrow. So it's not on his conscience that he's holding someone that is yearning to see the Philippians again, okay? Because it said, when ye see him again, meaning he was from that particular camp. All right. When you see him again, we will be relieved. Okay. Yeah. We'll be relieved now that he's back. You can care for him. He can get back on his feet. The Lord gave him mercy. You know what I'm saying? So continuing to verse 29, it says, receive him, therefore, in the Lord, Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai, with all gladness, okay, and hold such in reputation.
Meaning, give him respect.
Yes.
You know, give respect unto him, man. You know, give him props for enduring his his cup.
That's right.
You know, for drinking his cup and still, you know, cheerfully, being about this ministry, man. All right. So, you know, brothers, that's a question that you ask yourself too, man. You know, are you really drinking your cup how you supposed to be drinking it, man? You know, you gotta drink that cup, man. You can't run around, your destiny, man. Yeah. Okay. Whatever you destined to do, man, you gotta embrace it, man. And you gotta go forward and push through it, man. Through whatever it is, man. Okay. Which everybody has their own struggles. Everybody has their own problems. Everybody has their own burdens that they got to carry, man. Everybody has their own cross that they got to carry. But you got to carry it, though, man. You know, you got to carry it. You know, you got to endure it, man. And if you do so, the Lord is going to make the whole world hold you in reputation, man.
That's right.
You know, and that's just a glimpse of it. You know, what Paul told the church of Philippi, when he comes to see you, hold him in reputation, meaning hold him in good respect, high esteem, man. Okay, that's right. A beautiful thing.
That's right. Verse 30, the last verse, Philippians 2:30, because for the work of Yahweh Shai and Mashiach, he was nigh unto death. So for doing the work, he was close, man.
Yeah.
On the brink. It says, not regarding his life. That goes back to what he said in Philippians 2 and 3 and 4. All right, being lowliness of mind, esteeming another better than himself. Look not on every man of his own things, but every man also on the things of others. That's not regarding your life. That's regarding your brother next to you.
That's right, bro.
And that's what Epaphroditus was doing, man. All right, to supply your lack of service towards me. So he was speaking to the Philippians that when you read to supply your lack of service toward me, he's not saying that in a negative sense, because the Philippians did a lot of things. Just at the time, maybe they didn't have it, so it was like, hey, Epaphroditus, man, you gotta go, man.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Just to help them work on certain things that they were lacking.
Exactly.
You know. But yeah, man, you know, so that's pretty much it on that chapter. Lord willing, we'll be back next week with chapter 3, and then we're gonna go into chapter 4, then we'll finish it up. But you know, hopefully that was edifying. You know, hopefully you brothers were edified, and the water for all of you brothers for posting your precepts and your comments, man. We couldn't get to them all because we wanted to get through the chapter, but hey, hopefully it was edifying to you brothers. And, you know, as always, a Rabba Thumb to all the sincere Akim, Laha B'chayim Shah, Yasha Allah, you know, May Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai, Shalak Barakim La, Ata, Wa, Wayathka, okay? And may the Lord, you know, be with you in all things that you do, and hold Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai in high esteem and praise, and continually thank and worship his name. All right. So with that, I'm gonna give all praises to Yahweh, Ba'Shem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'Shem, Makakodash. Double honors once again to the apostles and elders. Peace and safety to the elect. All right. Shalom, Akim.
Shalom.